Welcome to night 6 of 30 Nights of Fright. Tonight, I will be sharing some dark fairy tale and fable retellings. Now, these are stories you thought you knew, but of course, these retellings have a darker and more dangerous twist. So, I'll share a little bit about each book and what you can expect without spoilers. And at the end, I'll let you know what tomorrow's theme is. The first book on my list is a hauntingly beautiful retelling of the Russian fairy tale called The Snow Maiden. Now, this modern retelling is set in Alaska in the 1920s, and it really captures the magic and loneliness of a world on the edge of survival. And the book I'm talking about is The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivy. The Snow Child is a retelling of a Russian fairy tale called The Snow Maiden, and it follows a couple, Jack and Mabel. They don't have a child, but we see them struggling to make a life for themselves on their remote homestead. And one winter evening, in just a rare moment, I guess you could say, of serendipity and joy, they decide to build a child out of snow. But the next morning, the snow child is gone. And instead, they see a mysterious young girl who appears in the woods. Now, this young girl, she's just as wild and elusive and seems to be a part of the woods and just the natural landscape itself. And notably, there is always a red fox by her side. Now we see Jack and Mabel really growing to love this girl, just like they would their own daughter. But then we also see them begin to question who or what she truly is. Is she a magical being that was brought to life by their witches? Or is this something more magical and fleeting? The Snow Child is an exploration of love and loss and beauty and nature. And it's perfect not just to read now, but also going into the winter months. But yeah, this is what you can expect in The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivy. The second book on my list is a collection of stories that's beautifully written, and it reimagines classic fables and fairy tales in just a very unique and creative way. And the collection I'm talking about is White Cat, Black Dog by Kelly Link. Now, if you know Kelly Link, this author just does an amazing job at just blending the everyday and the ordinary and what seems to be mundane with the fantastical. And this collection takes on inspiration from the Brothers Grimm, Scottish tales, Norwegian folklore, and lots more. Now, in White Cat, Black Dog, you'll find characters on the hunt. They're seeking love, they're seeking revenge, they're seeking their own sense of purpose in what seems to be a surreal yet magical world. Now, for example, one story, The White Cat's Divorce, follows an aging billionaire who sends his son on some really odd and bizarre quests and things to do to determine which of them will inherit his fortune. And in another one, The Girl Who Did Not Know Fear, this one is about a professor trapped at an airport hotel, battling her own fears as she races to make it home to her family. Now, again, these stories sound incredibly ordinary, but I'm telling you, these stories will twist and turn in surprising ways. So yes, you're going to get the genuine emotion, but there's a lot of dark humor. There's also puzzling stories as well. And this collection really just invites you into some strange and bizarre, but also magical worlds where you're there and you're figuring out the rules in these spaces. So expect the unexpected, because every story is just a journey into something unique, but also dark and humorous at the same time. This is a fairy tale folklore retelling I know that you wouldn't expect, but once you've read it, I promise you, you're going to love it. And you're going to say, this is the best thing I've read. It's just so well done. And that's what you can expect in White Cat, Black Dog. Okay, the third book on my list is the darkest. Okay, this one is so dark. It's so disturbing. It's also sinister. And this is a retelling of the classic mermaid story. Just everything you can think of from The Little Mermaid. This is a retelling of that. So the book I'm excited to share with you is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Cole. The Salt Grows Heavy is a quick read. This is a slim novella, but I am telling you, it's dark, it's disturbing, and it's sinister, and everything you think you know about mermaids goes out the door. Now, in this story, we meet a mermaid who's married the prince, but what the fables and fairy tales forget to tell you is that mermaids have teeth. Now, we see the mermaid's daughters have ravaged the kingdom. It's left it in ruins. So now she's on the run from the destruction they've caused. Now, the mermaid is also accompanied by a plague doctor. Listen, this character is no joke. This plague doctor is a mysterious figure with their own dark past as well. And as we see these two travel deeper into this snow-covered wilderness, they come across a village of ageless children. And these children have an insatiable thirst for blood, but they're also controlled by three sinister saints. And to survive, we see the mermaid and the doctor having to just really dig deep and just embrace and confront some really dark stuff about themselves. I don't want to spoil it, so I won't say much further, but this is gruesome. And it's also atmospheric at the same time. And it really does a great job at exploring the thin line between who you consider a hero, but also who you consider a villain. You know, who is a monster, but who is worth saving. It's really dark, it's really gruesome, but it's so atmospheric, it's so well done. Perfect dark spooky season read. And that's what you can expect in The Salt Grows Heavy. All right, so there you have it. 3 dark, atmospheric, also twisted retellings that breathe new life into some familiar stories. But I want to hear from you. What are your favorite dark fairy tales or folklore, retellings, just anything that puts a twist on the original story? Share them in the comments. Let's swap some magical reads. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure when you leave a comment, other watchers and readers will benefit from your recommendations too. Now, don't forget to join me tomorrow for day 7, where we'll explore twisty books with unreliable narrators. These books will send shivers down your spine. I promise you, you won't want to miss it. But until then, stay spooky and keep the lights on.